I still remember the day my dad took his last breath. I was holding his hand in that cold hospital room, tears streaming down my face when he looked at me with those tired eyes and whispered, "Take care of the house, sweetheart. It's yours. Promise me." I promised. Of course I promised. That house wasn't just brick and wood. It was every Christmas morning, every birthday cake, every time he carried me on his shoulders in the backyard. He built it with his own hands after Mom left us. It was the only thing he had left to give me. He passed 2 weeks later. The funeral was small, quiet, or so I thought. The morning after we buried him, my phone started blowing up. Texts, calls, voicemails, my Aunt Karen, my Uncle Mark, even cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. All of them saying the same thing. We need to talk about the estate. I was still sleeping in his old recliner wearing his sweater when they showed up at the door, 6 of them, carrying folders and fake sympathy smiles. Karen spoke first. "Honey, your dad didn't have a will. That means everything has to be split equally between his children and his siblings." I laughed. I actually laughed because it was so ridiculous. "There are no other children," I said. "It's just me." Uncle Mark stepped forward. "Blood is blood. The law says we're entitled." I felt the room tilt. They weren't here to grieve. They were here to take. But what I didn't know that day, what would break my heart all over again, was that they'd already been planning this for months. While I was at the hospital holding Dad's hand, they were meeting with lawyers, digging through old records, building a case to prove I didn't deserve the only thing he ever wanted me to have. 3 months later, I found myself sitting in a courtroom, hands shaking, staring at the people who used to be my family. They dressed up for the occasion. Karen in pearls, Mark in a suit he clearly rented, smirking like they had already won. Their lawyer stood up and painted me as the greedy daughter who manipulated a dying man. He said I pressured Dad into signing the house over to me while he was on painkillers. He waived medical records I'd never seen before. He called me opportunistic. Every word felt like a knife. I looked at my aunt, the woman who used to braid my hair when I was little, and she wouldn't even meet my eyes. That hurt worse than anything. They wanted everything. The house, the savings account, even Dad's old truck. They claimed emotional distress, said Dad, promised them money over the years. Lies. All lies. But lies told confidently in a courtroom can sound like truth. I hired the cheapest lawyer I could afford. He kept saying, "Without a will, this is going to be hard." Every night I cried myself to sleep on an air mattress in a friend's living room because they'd already put a lien on the house. I couldn't even go home. I started having panic attacks in grocery stores. I stopped eating. I kept replaying Dad's voice. "Promise me." I failed him. That's what it felt like. Then one night, while I was going through the last box of Dad's things I'd managed to save, I found it. A plain white envelope tucked inside his favourite Bible. My name written on the front in his shaky handwriting. Inside was a single sheet of paper, a handwritten will, dated 6 months before he got sick, witnessed by his nurse and his best friend from the VFW. Every word crystal clear. I leave my entire estate, including the house at 1427 Maple Lane, to my daughter. She is the only family I claim. My hands shook so hard I almost dropped it. He knew. Even back then, he knew they would come for me. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there holding that paper, feeling something shift inside my chest. The tears stopped. The fear turned into something colder, calmer. They wanted a war. Fine. But they had no idea who they were fighting. The next court date, I walked in wearing the only blazer I owned, hair pulled back, face calm. They were laughing in the hallway, already celebrating. Karen even hugged their lawyer like it was over. When the judge called my name, I stood up and said, "Your Honour, I'd like to submit new evidence." I handed the bailiff Dad's will. You could have heard a pin drop. The judge read it slowly. Then he looked up, first at me, then at them. "Is this the original document?" "Yes, sir. Notarized and witnessed." He asked their lawyer if they'd like time to review it. The man stammered, This changes everything." The judge's voice turned ice cold. "It certainly does." He ruled on the spot. Will valid, case dismissed, all liens removed immediately. Then he looked straight at my family and said, "I strongly suggest you leave this young woman alone from this point forward." Karen started crying. Fake tears this time. Mark's face went purple. They tried to argue, but the judge shut them down. As they filed out, not one of them looked at me. I walked out of that courthouse holding the only thing that mattered, Dad's last words, kept safe until I needed them most. I moved back into the house a week later. I hung his sweater in the closet where it belongs. Sometimes when the wind moves the curtains just right, I swear I can feel him smiling. I learned something through all of this. Real family isn't blood. It's the person who protects you even after they're gone. It's the promise kept when no one is watching. And sometimes justice doesn't roar. Sometimes it's just one quiet piece of paper, handed to the right person at the right time. If you're watching this and someone is trying to take what's yours, if they're lying, manipulating, counting you out, don't give up. Keep going. The truth always finds a way. And when it does, it's the sweetest revenge there is. I found my peace. I hope you find yours.